Welcome, gents. The most dangerous ones are never the loudest in the room. Sigma males walk through life unnoticed, not because they lack value, but because they don't demand recognition. In a world that rewards flashiness, self-promotion and social dominance, they remain an enigma. They move in silence, operate on their own terms, and refuse to play by society's rules. And because they don't seek approval or fight for attention, people assume they're irrelevant. That's the mistake. People sleep on Sigma males because they don't understand them. They mistake their independence for indifference, their quiet confidence for weakness, and their lack of need for validation as a lack of ambition. But what they fail to see is that while the world is busy chasing the spotlight, the Sigma is building, mastering his craft, sharpening his mind, and positioning himself for the long game. And that's why they always win in the end. While others waste time proving themselves, the Sigma male simply becomes what others are still pretending to be. If you're a Sigma, don't waste a second worrying about who recognizes you. Let them overlook you. Let them underestimate you, because when the time comes, they won't just see you. They'll wonder how they missed you all along. Number 1, their success is often hidden. Success today is loud. People flash designer brands, luxury cars, and social media highlights, desperate to prove they've made it. Society has conditioned people to believe that wealth and status must be obvious, that if someone isn't flaunting their success, they must not have any. That's why Sigma males go unnoticed. They don't wear their achievements like a badge of honor. They don't seek admiration, and they definitely don't need external validation. A Sigma male could be sitting next to you in a plain t-shirt and jeans, casually running businesses, making strategic moves, and building an empire, all without saying a word. And because he doesn't fit the stereotypical image of success, people overlook him. They assume he's just an average guy, someone without much influence. They judge by surface appearances, not realizing that real power doesn't need to announce itself. That's their mistake. By the time people finally recognize his worth, he's already too far ahead for them to catch up. The person they dismissed as just another guy turns out to be someone they should have paid attention to. The opportunities they could have had with him, gone. The doors they didn't think to open, locked. And the Sigma, he doesn't care. He never needed their recognition to begin with. He operates in his own world, creating, growing, and winning without the need for applause. That's the difference. While others chase success to be seen, the Sigma builds success to be free. And that's why in the end, he always wins. Number 2. They don't waste time on the wrong battles. Most people are addicted to conflict. They waste time arguing over nonsense, getting emotional over small things, and fighting battles that don't even matter in the long run. But the Sigma male, he moves differently. He doesn't fight for ego, he fights for results. He understands that energy is limited. Every argument, every petty dispute, every pointless debate drains focus and time, resources that could be used for something far more valuable. That's why he doesn't engage in unnecessary drama. If a battle won't serve a greater purpose, he lets it go. Not because he's weak, not because he's afraid, but because he's disciplined enough to know when to act and when to walk away. And that's where people misjudge him. In a world where people mistake aggression for strength, his calmness is seen as passivity. They assume he doesn't care. They assume he's not capable of standing his ground. They assume they can push him without consequence. That's their first mistake. Because while they're busy arguing over small things, he's strategizing. While they're reacting emotionally, he's observing. And when the time comes, when the right battle presents itself, he makes a move so precise, so calculated, that it changes everything. He doesn't fight for attention. He fights when it matters. And when he does, there's no wasted effort, no emotional outbursts, just pure, efficient action that leaves no room for doubt. By the time people realize what just happened, it's already too late. The Sigma male never needed to prove himself in every minor dispute. He was never disengaged. He was just waiting for the right moment. And when that moment comes, he doesn't just win the battle, he ends the war. Number 3, they don't fall into trends, they create their own path. Trends control the masses. One day something is in, and suddenly everyone scrambles to follow. People trade their individuality for the comfort of fitting in, mistaking popularity for value. But the Sigma male, he doesn't follow trends. He walks his own path, even when it means walking alone. He doesn't need society to tell him what's valuable. He decides that for himself. While others let trends dictate their identity, he builds his own. While they seek approval, he seeks meaning, and because he refuses to conform, people don't know where to place him. They can't categorize him, so they assume he's irrelevant. That's their mistake, because the ones who blindly follow trends are always playing catch-up, always adapting to someone else's vision. Meanwhile, the Sigma male is years ahead, quietly shaping his world exactly the way he wants. By the time the masses realize where real value lies, he's already built something timeless. And this is why people underestimate him. They assume that because he's not in the spotlight, he's not significant. But what they don't see is that while they were busy chasing what was trendy, he was mastering what was real. While they changed their opinions to fit in, he sharpened his mindset to stand out. By the time they wake up, the trend has died, and they're left scrambling for the next one. Meanwhile, the Sigma male remains untouched, unaffected, and unshaken, because he never needed the crowd to validate his worth. He created his own lane, and now he's untouchable. Number 4, by the time people recognize Sigma male power, it's too late. People are slow to recognize real power. They're too distracted by appearances, noise, and the illusion of dominance. They assume the loudest, the flashiest, and the most attention-hungry are the ones who will make it. Meanwhile, the Sigma male is moving in silence, unbothered, unnoticed, until it's too late. At first, he doesn't seem like a threat. He doesn't chase validation. He doesn't demand recognition. He doesn't fight for a seat at the table, because while everyone else is obsessed with being seen, he's obsessed with executing. While they waste time proving themselves, he's busy becoming. That's why people sleep on him. They don't take him seriously. They assume that because he's not constantly advertising his moves, he must not be making any. But what they fail to understand is this: the Sigma male doesn't need permission to rise. He doesn't need applause to stay motivated. And he definitely doesn't need approval to win. So by the time people start paying attention, the game is already over. The man they ignored, dismissed, or underestimated has outmaneuvered them. They look up and he's already miles ahead, far beyond their reach, far beyond their influence. And that's when it hits them. They never saw him coming, and now there's nothing they can do about it. They had their chance to recognize his potential. They had their chance to understand his mindset, but they were too busy underestimating him. Now he's untouchable. And the worst part, he doesn't even look back. He never needed their recognition to begin with. Number 5, they win in the long game. Most people are addicted to speed. They want quick wins, overnight success, and instant validation. They chase trends, jump at shortcuts, and get frustrated when things don't happen fast enough. But the Sigma male? He plays a different game, one that requires patience, discipline, and a level of focus most people simply don't have. He's not interested in short-term applause. He doesn't care about impressing people today if it means compromising his future. While others burn themselves out trying to be seen, he moves silently, building something real, something that will last. That's why people overlook him. In the early stages, his progress isn't flashy. There's no constant self-promotion, no desperate need for recognition. And because society only rewards what's visible, they assume he's not doing much. That's their mistake, because while they're distracted by quick wins, he's setting up long-term victories. While they chase what's trendy, he's mastering what's timeless. While they burn out from trying to prove themselves, he remains steady, consistent, and unshaken. And when the dust finally settles, when all the noise dies down, he's the one left standing, far ahead of those who once overlooked him. By then, people start asking, how did he do it? But the truth is, he was doing it all along. They just weren't paying attention. Sigma males don't win by luck. They win because they never lost sight of the bigger picture. They never traded long-term success for short-term validation. And that's why, in the end, they come out ahead, while everyone else is left wondering where they went wrong. Number 6, they don't seek permission to exist. Most people are wired to seek permission before they act. They wait for approval, for validation, for some kind of external green light that tells them it's okay to move forward. Sigma males, they don't operate that way. They don't ask if they can, they simply do. This makes them a mystery to others. In a world where most people hesitate, second-guess, and constantly seek reassurance, a man who moves on his own terms seems almost unnatural. Some mistake it for arrogance, others call it detachment. But the truth is much simpler. Sigma males don't need external validation to exist. They're self-sufficient in the truest sense. If they want to start something, they start. If they believe in something, they pursue it. They don't wait for permission, applause, or approval because they don't need it. They trust their own judgment more than the opinions of the crowd, and that alone makes them stand out. But it also makes people uncomfortable. Society thrives on groupthink, the idea that you need to check in with the collective before making a move. Sigma males reject that completely, and because they don't seek approval, people assume they must be cold, distant, or even unapproachable. What they don't realize is that Sigma males aren't avoiding people. They're simply free from the invisible chains that hold most people back. They don't need a pat on the back to know they're on the right path. They don't wait for someone to say, "Go for it." They just go. And in the end, while others are still waiting for permission to chase their dreams, the Sigma male is already miles ahead, building his own reality, completely on his own terms. Number 7, they master skills in the shadows. Most people crave recognition before they've even put in the work. They learn just enough to impress others, then rush to show off, hoping for applause. But Sigma males, they take a different route, one that requires patience, discipline, and absolute focus. They master their skills in silence, far away from the need for validation. That's why people don't see them coming. While others are busy performing for attention, the Sigma is behind closed doors, refining his craft to perfection. No distractions, no shortcuts, just pure, relentless improvement. He doesn't need an audience clapping for every small milestone. He doesn't need social approval to stay motivated. He's building something real, something undeniable. And because he isn't constantly broadcasting his progress, people assume he has none. They mistake his quiet dedication for inactivity. They overlook him, thinking he's just another ordinary person. That's their mistake. Because by the time they finally recognize what he's capable of, he's already miles ahead. While they were busy showing off, he was preparing to dominate. And when he finally steps forward, his mastery is so refined, so effortless, that it leaves people stunned. Suddenly, the ones who ignored him are scrambling to understand how they missed it. But the Sigma doesn't care about late recognition. He never needed their attention in the first place. His success was never about impressing them. It was about becoming the best version of himself. And that's what makes him unstoppable. Number 8, they're not loud about their ambition. They just execute. In today's world, people expect ambition to be loud. They admire those who shout their dreams from the rooftops, constantly reminding the world of their plans. The bigger the declaration, the more impressive it seems. Society has been trained to associate noise with success. That's why Sigma males slip under the radar. They don't talk about what they're going to do, they just do it. No big speeches, no exaggerated promises, no social media updates about grinding or hustling. While others waste time announcing their ambition, the Sigma is already executing. And because he doesn't make a spectacle of his progress, people assume he has none. They think that because he isn't broadcasting his goals, he must not have any. They equate silence with a lack of direction. That's their mistake. While they're busy talking, he's busy moving. While they're seeking validation, he's stacking results. While they're craving recognition, he's securing real wins. And by the time they finally notice, he's already miles ahead, without ever needing to prove himself along the way. Sigma males understand something most people don't. Success doesn't come from talking about the work, it comes from doing it. That's why they don't waste energy trying to impress anyone. They'd rather let their results speak for themselves. So when the world finally wakes up and sees what he's built, it's already too late. The ones who dismissed him, left behind, the ones who underestimated him, watching from the sidelines. And the Sigma, he doesn't even slow down because his ambition was never about them in the first place. He didn't need their attention to win, he just needed the work, and that's exactly why he can't be stopped. Number 9, they make people uncomfortable without even trying. Most people navigate the world through a carefully rehearsed script. Shallow small talk, forced enthusiasm, and meaningless social rituals designed to keep everything comfortable. Sigma males don't play that game. They walk into a room and instantly disrupt the unspoken rules, not by causing a scene, but simply by refusing to engage in the nonsense. And that alone makes people uncomfortable. Why? Because deep down, most people crave validation. They rely on social approval to feel important. But when they meet a Sigma male, someone who doesn't flinch at silence, doesn't fake a smile, and doesn't pretend to be interested in empty chatter. They feel exposed. The Sigma's very presence acts like a mirror, reflecting back the superficiality they're so used to hiding behind. People don't like that feeling. It unsettles them. Instead of questioning their own behavior, they assume he's the problem. They label him distant, arrogant, or uninterested, anything to avoid admitting that his indifference is forcing them to confront their own insecurities. And so, they downplay him. They dismiss him as unimportant, assuming that someone who doesn't fight for attention must not have much to offer. But that's the mistake. Because while they're busy misunderstanding him, he's reading them like an open book. While they try to categorize him, he remains completely unaffected, unbothered, and beyond their reach. The irony? The same people who ignore the Sigma male often find themselves drawn to him later, fascinated by the mystery they once rejected. By then, though, he's already moved on, proving once again that the world underestimates what it doesn't understand. Number 10. They don't advertise their skills. In a world where everyone is desperate to prove themselves, the Sigma male remains an anomaly. He doesn't beg for attention. He doesn't parade his achievements. But make no mistake, he is highly capable, often more skilled than those who never stop talking about how great they are. Most people have been conditioned to believe that if you don't constantly advertise your skills, you must not have any. Society rewards the loud, the self-promoters, the ones who take credit even when they don't deserve it. Meanwhile, the Sigma male moves in silence. He doesn't need to tell you what he's good at. His results will do that for him. This is why people overlook him. At first, they assume he's average, maybe even unremarkable. He doesn't make a grand entrance, doesn't boast about what he knows, and doesn't seek approval. While others exaggerate their abilities to gain status, he focuses on mastering his craft. His competence grows quietly, unnoticed, until it's undeniable, and that's when the shift happens. One day, when the pressure is on and real skill is required, the Sigma male steps up and effortlessly outperforms everyone. Suddenly, the ones who dismissed him, who thought he had nothing to offer, are scrambling to understand how they missed it. The truth is, he didn't need to be seen. He didn't need to announce himself. He knew what he was capable of all along. While others wasted time talking about their potential, he was busy becoming. And now, when it matters most, he stands above the rest, not because he sought recognition, but because he earned it without ever having to ask for it. Number 11, they don't chase status, they let it come to them. Most people spend their lives chasing status, fighting to be seen, to be respected, to be recognized. They jump through hoops, play social games, and exhaust themselves trying to climb the invisible ladder of success. Sigma males, they don't bother. This confuses people. Society is conditioned to respect those who loudly demand attention, not those who simply are valuable. When someone isn't flexing their wealth, broadcasting their achievements, or desperately seeking approval, the average person assumes they must not be important. That's the mistake. Sigma males operate differently. They don't seek validation, and they don't waste energy trying to impress people who aren't worth their time. Instead, they quietly focus on mastering their craft, sharpening their mind, and creating real value. They understand that true power doesn't come from chasing status. It comes from becoming someone so undeniably competent that status naturally follows. This is why they're often overlooked until they're not. By the time people realize a Sigma male's worth, he's already positioned himself miles ahead, operating on a level they never saw coming. He never had to shout for attention. He never had to beg for recognition. He simply kept moving while everyone else wasted time trying to look important. And that's the ultimate power move. Sigma males don't just win the game, they make their own rules. While others exhaust themselves trying to be seen, the Sigma male focuses on becoming something real. And when status finally comes knocking, it's on his terms, not society's. In the end, a lion doesn't need to announce its presence. Its power is felt in silence. People sleep on Sigma males because they don't fit the mold. They don't chase attention, they don't play social games, and they don't waste energy proving themselves. In a world that rewards loudness over substance, their quiet strength goes unnoticed until it's too late. But that's exactly what makes them powerful. While others seek validation, Sigma males master their craft. While others burn out chasing trends, they stay steady, building something real. And while others measure success by visibility, they define it on their own terms. If you're a Sigma, understand this. Being underestimated is an advantage. Let them overlook you. Let them assume you're irrelevant, because by the time they realize the truth, you'll already be miles ahead, untouchable and unstoppable. The world may not recognize your value immediately, but that's never been your concern, has it? Keep building, keep moving, let them sleep. It's their loss. Thank you for watching, gents, and God bless you.